Hello and welcome to Multi-Movie Monday. I'm your host, Lazy Universe, and when I'm not going around with a giant puppet or in a giant rubber suit trying to terrorize all of humanity, I mean, fuck it. I'm in my own little universe reviewing movies, and today it's Terror in the Sky Day. Yeah, I kinda got that by, Batman the Animated Series. Anyways, today is Terror in the Sky Day, and of course, if probably some of you guys don't know, I am a big fan of Godzilla movies or just giant monster kaiju movies in general, which is why I sometimes love watching other YouTubers that do the kaiju movie genre like Brendan Tenold and Paper Fins. But on the top of that, I'm going to be taking a look at three monster movies here. I'm just trying to hold them out in general. Three monster movies that I am going to talk about. I don't know if this is informing or good or not yet. I will see when I get to do it, but there we go. Three monster movies. And the first one that I'm going to talk about here is 1956 Rodan, which is considered by a lot of kaiju fans as a cult classic. Is it really, though? Well, let's dig into some giant pterodactyl action and see what's going on. This is 1956 Rodan. From opening off with the bat, you can tell that this movie is not gonna be like your typical other giant monster movie because the opening credits is pretty generic, kind of. Also, in fact, we do not open up on Japan first moment of this movie. We actually open up on America with a military base discussing plans of atomic test. The majority of this movie is told to us by Shigeru, played by Kenji Sahara, as he tells us about the story of what happened down in the mines and men going absolutely fucking crazy. The opening scene is actually very much H.P. Lovecraft. There's a monster hidden, and every time we get next to or close to it, it gets just going absolutely berserk and crazy. It's not long before after the men are accidentally trapped down in there that they are pet to pieces and torn apart by a giant monster that lived down there. What's this film's rating again? Everybody upon the field tried to figure out what exactly is happening and what the monster is. And nobody knows just yet, not even the guy that's wearing glasses, and for God's sake he's wearing glasses! And to answer a lot of people's question of where the hell is the giant kaiju, this giant kaiju doesn't appear until halfway through the film until we officially see Rodan, or more or less toward the end of the movie. I'm not trying to be that guy, but a guy and a girl go up to a volcano, a dormant volcano, where they decide it's a good idea to take pictures with each other. They will find out that this is not the place for selfie or Instagram photos. As one of the injured men in the movie, I don't really remember his name truthfully, has a flashback about seeing a giant egg in a cave, and lo, he starts to remember everything that has happened and braces himself for the worst. So Rodan finally makes his debut appearance in this movie, even though technically he already made a debut appearance, but whatever. And it freaks the other guy right the fuck out, so he rushes out of the cave as quickly as he can, and as injured as he is. Also, just to let people know, this film has a lot of exposition. I mean, a ton of people just talking and getting the exposition down instead of showing the monster itself, which I can see a lot of people getting a little bit irritated with, truthfully. But the thing that makes Rodan a lot more original than some of the other films is that it actually had two monsters instead of one, a male and female that go around and terrorizing the city, tearing it apart. So, after Rodan tear apart the entire city, Tokyo is trying to figure out what exactly to do about these giant monsters of destruction, and they have a plan. They will trap them in the volcano and bury them alive together. Well, that doesn't sound like a great idea, but it's the military, so their idea never works. The movie doesn't end that you expect it to. The military just attacks where Rodan and Rodan are hidden, and it just starts blowing it the hell right up and trying to kill both of the monsters, and the plan actually works. Well, I can see a lot of people kind of getting upset with Rodan, and especially for how slow and paced movie that it is. Rodan is still a good movie and still honored as a cult classic among Kaiju fans today. If you want a different Kaiju film to watch this year, I highly recommend checking out Rodan. While yes, being a slow paced movie, it's still pretty damn good and holds up to this day. It's giant Kaiju action in the best of ways. Rodan is seen mostly as a cult classic movie, and I have to agree that Rodan is a film that any and all Kaiju fans should see, especially making more than several appearances in Godzilla alone. But now it's time for the second film of the preview, known as Return of the Giant Monsters, or Gamera vs. Gyaos. And while I don't think that the film is too bad, remember what I said about Rodan having too much dialogue and too much character-driven stuff, there's too much talking things instead of the giant monsters? Yeah, this one doesn't fare any better, and it's kind of a little bit worse than Rodan is. So check out the fourth movie in the Gamera franchise, Gamera vs. Gyaos. Gamera vs. Gyaos is brought to us by America International Television. Ah, American International Television. I know nothing about you. This film is already very fucking slow and I already hate it. But aside from that, a volcano explodes out of no reason and everybody is confused about why the reason is. Upon investigating, there's a little boy that I'm just gonna name Kenny, thank you Brendan Tenold, for this film, and Kenny was assured that Gamera will protect everybody, even though the last time that Gamera showed up, he kinda destroyed everything. About 20 minutes in, Gyaos makes his first appearance, and I gotta say, he's a pretty memorable monster. He's basically a giant vampire bat, and he takes Kenny to probably eat him. Yes! Until Kenny is end up saved by the one and only flying giant turtle himself, Gamera. Fuck you, Gamera. Oh, but no, yeah, the first monsters ended up appearing and actually fighting each other within the first basically 20 minutes of the film, which is nice, but it's a shame it doesn't last too long. Because immediately after, Kenny is being interviewed about the giant monsters because his theory is that the monsters will not kill anybody, they just want to fight each other, Gamera trying to protect them, la 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 la. So moving along quickly in this film, they do have an idea of how to trap the vampire bat by using a pink mist that will end up trapping Gyaos upon it and then spinning him around like a record. And Gyaos, oh boy, ends up turning high as the military thinks that they have won the battle by spinning him around like this. They only forget that they're making the drugs even stronger for Gyaos and he is enjoying the high. They also find out that Gyaos does not actually enjoy sunlight. He ends up running away in the form of daylight. So it means that yes, Gyaos is supposed to be a vampire bat, or a vampire. The ending fight scene between Gyaos and Gamera is kind of a memorable one, but I gotta say it really could have been better because Gyaos vs. Gamera doesn't feel like the lead-up that it's supposed to compared to the other films in the genre. If you're a fan of Gamera, or even Godzilla, and you end up wanting to see this movie, it might be worth checking out Gamera vs. Gyaos if you like the kaiju monster action. But however, be prepared for a lot of character development and a lot of character talking because that's what ends up happening before Gamera and Gyaos have their big fight at the end of the movie. Not a bad film, but wouldn't be one that I would recommend all the time, even though Gyaos is a memorable Gamera villain, and I can see why. But still, just be forewarned, if you're gonna check out this movie, just prepare for it to be really goddamn slow. But still, great monster movie for what it's worth, just not that recommended by me and my standards, I will have to say. Alright, now it's time for the last movie and probably the one that people were waiting to hear because this one, by many Godzilla fans, is considered an amazing cult classic, and definitely I can see why. Godzilla vs. Mothra, the original from 1962. the fourth film in the Godzilla franchise after Godzilla vs. King Kong. So, is this one a worthy masterpiece and ends up standing up to the rest of them? Yeah, easily so. It's one of my favorite Godzilla movies too. So let's check out Godzilla vs. Mothra. Godzilla vs. Mothra opens up with Japan being eradicated and torn apart by a hurricane. But that's not the worst of it. The morning after the destruction, a giant egg ends up lost in the Tokyo Bay, as everybody's trying to figure out exactly what the heck that it is, as the Japanese shaman, or whatever that he is, thinks that it's a sign from God. The main characters in this movie are three basically reporters and one policeman. So 2 reporters, 1 policeman. I gotta say, compared from Rodan and Gamera vs. Gyaos, these ones are honestly not hateable. They are very good characters, very well written, and very well acted from everybody. So, really well done. Our main character is Ichiro, played by Akira Takarada, Professor Muria, played by Hishiro Komuji, and Yoka, played by Yuriko Hoshi. If I mispronounce any of those names, I'm terribly sorry. Also in this film, there are 2 greedy businessmen. Why greedy businessmen? Because why not? As they want to use this egg to make their fortune, to make a vast millions off of it, because there will be a huge tourist attraction. As they are visited by the Shobojin, played by Emi and Yumi Ito, 2 twins at the time, trying to convince them not to sell the egg and get rid of it. The egg came from Mothra Island, aka Virgin Island, and it ends up in the hands of them because of, I guess, an accident or whatever, as the Mothra twins are trying to get it back to basically Mystic Island, Virgin Island, whatever. That is until our main heroes are met with the queen of the monsters herself, Mothra.
I see nothing there.
Look behind you through the trees.
Over there!
While keeping the egg protected and making sure that nobody touches it, the greedy businessmen are telling everybody to fuck off and that they won't get the money that they have promised them, because of course, greedy businessmen. But something soon arrives. That's right, bitches. The king of the monsters arrives out of the land, and one of the most unusual shots for this movie, but hell, I'll give it this. It's effective, and I actually like it too. So as pretty usual, the big G, Gojira, or Godzilla, starts destroying the entire Tokyo town, as Tokyo can do nothing but watch as the giant monster ravishes all of Tokyo in its destruction. While trying to figure a way out of this, because Japan figured they're kind of screwed, especially with a giant monster, they decided to do one little thing that probably could work. Destroying him with missiles! Yes, destroying the huge, giant, mythical destruction beast of, well, mythology with missiles. And as you'd suspect, it doesn't work. So the team marches upon Monster Island, or Infant Island, to see if they can talk to the natives about borrowing Mothra, just to battle Godzilla to protect them. Unfortunately, the natives are not happy to give up Mothra to these people, especially after what they did to Infant Island, because it was a site used for atomic bomb droppings, and what's worse is that the people are all infected that live on the island. So yes, this movie, in case you're wondering, has a Save the Earth message and vibe going for it. It's not bad, but it's kind of annoying in the film that they always keep saying, Mothra won't help you because you destroyed her island! But the twins sing/talk to Mothra and try to see if they can get her to agree to go to the island to fight Godzilla. You bitches aren't getting anything. Until my puppeteer gets here, or until I'm told to fly, you sons of bitches can go and fuck off. I'm supposed to be here for my beauty parlor, goddammit! And where is the makeup person to make me look even more beautiful? I am the queen of the monsters, you know! I will not have this! But while Mothra agrees that she will protect Japan from Godzilla, what is the military up to exactly? Trying to figure out counterattack to defeat Godzilla! Sure, why not? You know, the military is not full of dumb people, you know. They're very smart and they know what they're doing with advanced military technology and all that. They're not this stupid, I just wanted to point that out. Military people are very smart. It's also not long before the businessmen get what's coming to them as Godzilla tramples closer and closer next to their building, about ready to smite them.
Take the blast there!
Oh, not the greedy businessmen. All they wanted was the money and everything. They deserved better than this. God damn it. As you'd expect, because Godzilla, I guess, curious, he makes his way over to the Mothra tank, or whatever you want to call it, incubus, and he starts tearing it apart. However, Mom is not happy as Mothra makes her way to protect her children from Godzilla, as everybody watches on to see exactly who will win. For what it's worth, too, especially I'm just gonna geek out over this, the special effects and monster fight that happens in this movie, especially towards the end, are really damn impressive and good for the time being. But however, Mothra doesn't end up winning the first round, as Godzilla moves closer and closer as he also burns her wing. Mothra is weak from the fight and can't get up. Help! I'm queen of the monsters, and I can't get up. Must get... All joking aside, yes, Mothra does die as Godzilla declares himself the victor. But however, he is not, because the egg hasn't hatched yet. And also, yes, the military still thinks that they can destroy the giant king of the monsters by keep dropping bombs upon him. Aw, guys, I know that you're trying, but he's a giant monster of wake and destruction. This isn't going to work. But eventually, the Mothra twins are finally born. Yes, I said Mothra twins because there are two of them in this movie. And I gotta say, the puppets again for Mothra look really good for the Muppet babies, I guess you want to call them that. I will say this for the movie, however, the final battle between Godzilla and the Mothra pupils is not exactly the best fight, but it is kind of worth watching in this film. It's a battle about who's the strongest and who basically would take the winner, and winner takes all in this fight, as the Mothra pupils don't have nearly as many powers as basically Mothra had before. But just like in a Pokemon battle, you don't give up. You keep trying the best, because you want to be the best like no one ever was. And they encase Godzilla in webbing. Cool. Godzilla vs. Mothra can be seen easily as a cult classic upon anybody's mind and memory, and really, as a guy that really does love this film, yeah, I can see why a lot of people still love this movie. Oh, sure, it's not as dark as the 1954 original, and it doesn't have such memorable scenes like in Godzilla vs. King Kong, but for the sake of it, this film is still awesome. If you're like me and you appreciate some good old-fashioned Godzilla, I highly recommend checking out Godzilla vs. Mothra, because you will not be disappointed in how good this movie holds up, even still today. Huh? Oh, I gotta put on. Okay. So, final verdict on all three films. Well, I think they're own big classics, but in their own way. Rodan holds up as a cult classic in the Kaiju genre immediately, and really does not hold any head barred compared to the original of what it is, and it really holds up among Kaiju fans as one of the best films ever made. Gamera vs. Gyaos, on the other hand, kind of, I would say. While not being bad and not being very unoriginal, because it kind of copies this film just a little bit, and also kind of copies this film a little bit. But Gamera vs. Gyaos still has its own legacy in the film genre, especially for Gyaos appearing as Gamera's main enemy, and including also showing up in the movie Gamera the Brave, which is pretty much iconic. And then there's Godzilla vs. Mothra. I don't think there's really anything I have to add to this movie. It's damn good. It really still holds up to this day. Yeah, some people could make fun of the puppeteering and the guys in giant suits business, but Mothra had her own appearance and even gotten her own Mothra film because she appealed to the girl genre, not really the boy genre, so to speak. And hey, maybe someday we'll check out the Mothra films in the total, but that's not here or there yet. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and join me for more Multi-Movie Mondays. Next Monday, it's Space Oddity Day, as we're taking a look at 3 films that have to deal with the space genre. And I'm sorry to say that it is not Star Trek or Star Wars. A lot of people are probably going to be pissed off, but still, really good film either way. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Join me for the next Multi-Movie Monday. And remember, 20 more Mondays, 20 more movies. And I hope to see you guys next time. Take care.